All right. So today I have planned for you, I've called it heart opening for the holidays. So hopefully it's as cheesy as it sounds. Let's start in child's pose or whatever centering posture you like. Taking those first few moments to get all settled in. Closing the eyes and starting to feel grounded. And centering is a really great time to set a purpose or intention for your practice. And I invite you to think about heart-opening qualities moving in towards the holidays. Sometimes they're magical and wonderful. We see family we haven't seen in a long time, friends, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes there's people who are not as nice as we'd like them to be. And so for those types of situations, I think it's really nice to, instead of absorbing that feeling, instead do the opposite and really feel open in our hearts. And again, sounds cheesy, but I love it. I love cheese. So thinking that most people, I would say all people, are doing the best that they can with what they've got, myself included. So over the holidays, thinking about openness, compassion, all of those things and bringing it into our centering. So just a few deep breaths here as we let those feelings resonate. And then slowly, let's make our way all the way up and back to a downward facing dog, taking a few moments. Maybe this will be one of many for you today, or maybe it'll be your one and only. Today will be a bit of a choose your own adventure. So maybe that means a little bit of a stronger flow to combat the upcoming turkey dinners. Or maybe it's gentle yin. Whatever's in your practice today, be sure to honor your body. And then send the feet forward all the way to the top of your mat, landing in a forward fold. So let the head hang and decompressing the spine, including the neck. So maybe even really soft motions of yes with the head, maybe a little gentle no with the head, just feeling that space between each vertebra. And then slowly ragdoll all the way up to standing. And we'll head into some sun salutations. And we often think of sun sals as being really strong, but the truth is you can have a really soft, gentle quality to them. Or if you're wanting a bit of a challenge, you can do up dogs, extra little push-ups, that kind of thing. Or like what I'm going to do, cobra today, and just nice and juicy, focusing more on the stretching aspects of sun salutations. So we start up at the top of our mats, heels and toes together, standing up nice and tall. So you could have a very strong feeling in your Tadasana mountain pose, or you could have a more gentle approach where you're feeling length. So a gentle lightness or length. And here we go. On an inhale, raise the arms up and hold. Take a few moments here. So I like to do a little bit of a stretch. Taking a moment, I like to have my head neutral, and then I transition to looking up at the thumbs, whatever is in your practice today. On the exhale, gliding forward. So again, to make that strong, use your glutes, activate them. Or nice flow, like you're gliding through water, all the way into that forward fold. On an inhale, looking up to the horizon. And plant the hands. Send the feet back to plank. You know all your options here. Lowering, chaturanga. On an inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, either way, holding. So maybe you're holding it strong in an up dog, or maybe you're feeling that stretch nice and gentle through the mid back. Deep breath here. And slowly release. And heading up and back to downward dog or child's pose, or maybe puppy dog pose. Few deep breaths. And puppy dog pose is Anahatasana, heart chakra pose. And since this is a heart opening class today, I like to feel that stretch in through the shoulders and the chest. And to do that, it's a gentle pressing towards the feet with the heart. And if need be, a little bit of a bend to the knees. And then send the feet forward all the way to the top, looking up for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale, returning to a tall mountain. Number 2, inhale. Arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, plant the hands, send the feet back and lower. Inhale. Up, so cobra or up dog. And exhale, remembering your options, downward dog or Anahatasana or child's pose. You could take a nice wide Balasana, maybe feels nice. Few deep breaths. And send the feet forward, all the way into flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, reaching way up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. Last one of A. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, plant the hands, send the feet back and lower. Inhale, shoulders down. And exhale, downward facing dog. And we're actually not even going to finish up that last sun salutation, so it's really only 2.5. From here, we'll make our way towards low lunge pose or Anjaneyasana. So if you want to do a three-legged down dog, that sometimes feels nice. Right leg sweeps to the sky, really gentle, nice stretch. And then send that right foot forward. Gently lower your back knee, maybe just onto your mat or maybe finding a cushion or something. And then we switch it up to yin. So nice, gentle stretch. Trying to feel that stretch in the hip flexor. You might feel it in the front leg as well, and that's okay too. Few deep breaths, especially as we get going. And if you're doing more of a vinyasa or strong style today, it can be challenging when you have that mindset of strength to switch it up to yin. But we can try to bring those qualities back by remembering the three things that we're doing. Three. So one, finding our edge, not pushing past it. So if the weight of your hips and your body is too much, you can have a block on either side to kind of help not go too deeply. And then the second thing, which I'm not so super at, is stillness. So trying not to fidget. And then the third thing is time. So we just wait. You can even close the eyes if you're feeling stable, if you have something to hold on to. And super gooey slow. We'll head out, and this is where we get to choose our own adventure again, either straight back to a down dog or child's pose or puppy dog pose, or if you want a little warmer upper, heading back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, and exhale. Downward facing dog. If you did the three-legged down dog on the first side, I invite you to lift that left leg all the way up to the sky, nice and gentle. And then send it forward, back knee gently lowers. And same. Come on up. Using your blocks or a cushion, whatever you need. And settling in. Few deep breaths, especially at first. And sometimes for a pose like this, closing the eyes, because it's a bit of a balanced posture, if you're not holding onto a couch or something right beside you, you can close the eyes almost. Sort of keep the gaze low. And it keeps your awareness sort of internal. And then moving super duper slow. Same options again, either back to child's pose, puppy dog pose, or downward dog, or plank, lower, up, and down. Couple deep breaths. Not too long here. And from here, we'll gently lower through hands and knees or come up to hands and knees, depending on where you were. You probably won't need blocks. I do, because I do this pose very weirdly. So what we're looking to do is Sphinx pose. So that's in the forearms, Urdhva. Or if that doesn't stretch for you, Cobra. So this is part of our heart opening. Or if Cobra doesn't stretch very much, you can use blocks and come on up. Our timer on. And I really feel like I wouldn't need the blocks even if my arms were longer. But alas, they're not, so it's fine. And then when you're in, so it is a little bit of an arm strengthener, but trying to soften and relax the whole spine. The low back generally feels the bulk of the stretch, and that is okay. I know for myself, it was somehow drilled into me that you shouldn't ever feel your low back ever for any reason, which I later learned is just not true. So that is where we naturally have the most amount of flexibility. Having said that, we do want to try to take some of that bend into the upper back, the mid back. So allow the sternum to melt forward. Breathing as deeply as available. This one's a weird one because breathing deeply is challenging when your diaphragm is being compressed. So some people find a little bit of fear doing back bending because of that reason, but knowledge is power. Just know it's normal. It would be weird if you could take full deep breaths in this position. To come out, we move slowly, 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 slowly. Take your time. And then when you're ready, we can press up and back to child's pose. You can even widen those knees if you want to. Sometimes it feels more comfortable, but do take a moment to really relax through the back. And then come on up. And from here, we'll head into gecko. So we can go one of two ways. One, just head right in there. The other is through down dog. And then right leg sweeps to the sky. Stepping forward. And back knee lowers onto your cushion or your mat. And then finding those toes behind you. We're not here as long as the other stretches, maybe just 1 minute. So usually we start out with the opposite hand finds the toes. Or if you can't quite reach, you can use the same hand. Or if you need more of a stretch, you can use the same hand. Few deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly release. And either just nice and slow switching sides, or if on the first side you did three-legged, then we'll head up and back to downward dog. And then left leg sweeps to the sky for three-legged. And step that foot forward, back knee lowers down. And then finding those toes. So same. Take the same care and attention as the first side. Because sometimes one side is a little more open than the other, so we want to be very cautious. And slowly, slowly release. And then either puppy dog or child's pose or down dog for a couple deep breaths. And then gently lower knees down to the mat, and we'll head into camel pose. And I call this one couch camel because if you're wanting to keep it more gentle, then you might not want to go into full camel pose, Ustrasana. But if you do have a couch behind you, you can just kind of go like this and lift up and hold onto the couch, or two chairs on either side. And the reason we would do that is then you can sort of press down onto the couch or the chairs, and it'll help you lift up and back. So whether you've got some props beside you or you're heading into this solo, remember the option for the toes. So you can tuck the toes under and your heels are much closer. So either way, hands to the hips, remember to listen to your body. Don't go further than is healthy for you today. So heart opening, not extreme back bending. Okay, heart opening. One more time, heart opening. Here we go. Lifting up in whatever variation you're in, maybe reaching back for the feet. Wherever you're at, holding. And slowly, slowly. Come on all the way up and then all the way into child's pose, but take your time, take your time. So nice and gentle, heart opening today. From our Ustrasana camel pose. Couple deep breaths. And then come on up. And here's where it starts to get nice. We get to lay all the way back. So when we lay back, we're going to set up for either bridge pose, or if you're feeling ambitious, feel free to do upward bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. If you're doing bridge pose, I recommend highly, instead of an active bridge, use a block beneath the hips, okay? You could, if you wanted to make it a little bit more of an intense stretch, not much more, but you could try to get the block upright beneath the hips. It's really tippy though. You need like accurate precision of like the tailbone or the whatever on the block. So be cautious. Whatever you're doing, we'll head all the way back. And preparing. So I'm not teaching this one today. I'm assuming you all know what either bridge pose is or upward dog. So take the next few moments getting all set up and then holding as long as you can and begin. And then slowly release and make your way into Apanasana, hugging the knees in, gently rocking from side to side. And then, as a nice counter stretch for all of our heart opening poses, we'll head into twisted roots, one of my personal favorites. So arms in a T position, palms facing down. And of course, if you want a milder variation, please do that. So for twisted roots, hips go to the right, knees go to the left, but be sure the hips are over enough, because often we need to scooch them over a little bit more than we think to have that top hip, well, bottom hip as well, in line with the sternum. Be sure both shoulders are on the floor. And softening and melting here. I could almost fall asleep in this one. Let's pull the belly in and press the low back into the floor as we unravel and unwind. And then switching sides once we're all squared up. So hips go way over to the left, knees go way over to the right, and the shoulders stay square. And scoop the belly in, press the low back into the floor, unraveling, unwinding. And once you're all squared up, hug those knees in for Apanasana, maybe gently rocking side to side. And then we'll prepare for Shavasana and our little kind of mini class for the holidays. So get anything you need to feel cozy. If you want to put a sweater back on or some socks, getting whatever you need. And laying back. And as always, if the back needs a little extra support today, keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extending the legs and arms along your sides, palms facing up. And closing the eyes. Softening everything. But especially through the neck and the shoulders. And all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. And starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor for a big stretch. Feeling totally refreshed. And bending your knees in one at a time. And gently roll over to the right side. Pausing for just a moment as you come back. And then slowly press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, taking all the time you need. But when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, softly close the eyes. And taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today and taking care of you. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays, and I will see you next time.
Thanks, Carla. What a gift.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks.